Wanjira, are you there? Wanjira Mataya.
Hi, Harry. It's Dorcas. Wanjira is joining shortly.
Okay, no problem. So Raju sir, welcome to the Zoom class.
Sir, thank you so much. Good morning, you and all your students in school. I am very happy.
It's our pleasure. We are waiting for our guests. So we can expect our guest anytime from now onwards.
Okay, sir, no problem. But I am in journey, sir. If you don't mind my network connection depending on the journey, so I'll be staying.
No problem.
Sometimes I'll get interrupted.
No problem, sir. And your presence is utmost important for us. No problem, and sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All the best for today's session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I am proud to say that Raju sir from Telangana has already been selected for the Fulbright program, and sir and we going to USA in the month September. So he is also one of the excellent teachers working in Telangana.
Along with Harikrishna sir.
So I am expecting one more teacher from Krishna district. So we will wait. Maybe it's the lunchtime, sir. Rajugar, actually the schedule of the has changed from today onwards in Andhra Pradesh. So the lunchtime and everything has been changed today onwards due to the initiative of our CM. సార్ మీరు సెషన్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది సార్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మేడం గారు అయితే రాలేదు, మీరు ఒకసారి అందుబాటులో ఉండండి సార్. ఓకే సార్. So as I told you that Ramesh sir, one of the experienced coordinator of SCRP, is also going to join from home. So Darkos, have you ever been to India?
No, not yet. I plan to come one day.
So you're most welcome to India. So how is the COVID-19 situation in your country?
Sorry, let me pick this call from Wanjira.
Yeah, please. Ramesh garu, welcome to the Zoom class, sir. Ramesh garu, welcome to the Zoom class. We are really proud to welcome you. We are proud to invite you to such a global occasion, sir. So we are my students. Ma'am is going to connect with us anytime, sir. Could you please introduce yourself? రమేష్ గారు మీరు వినపడుతుందా నేను మాట్లాడేది? ఓకే సార్. So Dorcas, can we expect ma'am?
Sorry?
So can we expect ma'am? Wanjira ma'am.
Yes, she's just logging in.
Okay, thank you. So Wanjira, good morning. Welcome to the Zoom class.
Hello.
Wanjira, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Nice to see you. How are you all?
Yeah, we are all fine. So it's a great day for us actually to see you one more time. Last time, unfortunately, we got disconnected with you. Today it's a great day for us. So Wanjira, I am really proud to introduce TVS Ramesh garu. He is one of the experts in designing the curriculum, and he is most experienced coordinator, and he is also known as walking dictionary as far as the curriculum reforms are concerned. So that's a great personality is with us, Wanjira. And so he is Ramesh garu. Ramesh garu, please introduce yourself with Wanjira ma'am. Okay, I think the Ramesh sir is not able to listen.
He's
to my
muted.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I start my students. So one by one, come and ask your questions. It's every minute, every second is precious for us. Yeah.
It's great to see all of them. Lovely.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
Hi, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm very well. It's good to see you.
My name is Soundarya. I'm studying 10th grade.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's my honor to ask this question. How did Green Belt movement start?
That's a really good question. And if you want to know even more, I'll start by telling you that there is a film that has been made about the Greenbelt movement. It's called Taking Root. So if you want to watch it, you can download the link at takingroot.org. But it started really from a situation where my mother was observing that women were complaining about issues like lack of water, lack of food, and lack of fuel wood in a way that she did not recognize because she grew up in the same countryside. And so she was very curious what had happened and why the women were complaining about issues that were not problems when she was growing up. And so she decided to ask the women, why not plant trees? Because all the issues they were complaining about seemed to be connected with trees. There was water, that a lot of the trees that she grew up seeing, especially the mighty fig trees that were dotted in that part of the country. And also the fact that a lot of food comes from trees, fruits and a lot of other things. And then of course the rivers and the water that she was fetching for her family as a child. Now women were complaining that they're walking for 5 hours, and she couldn't understand how they were walking for 5 hours. When she was young, she was going to fetch water in a few minutes. And so the rivers were very close to the house, and a lot of those rivers had dried up. And so she decided that trees would be the answer. And so I think that was the short way of saying it, was from an observation and then from deciding why not start planting trees. And slowly by slowly, she started organizing women under the banner of the Greenbelt movement. And they together started planting trees, and planting them in schools and planting them along the roadside, planting them in their own homes, and started creating this belt of green. I see that lovely picture in your book.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Ramani. I am studying 10th grade. It's my privilege to ask this question. What are your views on women empowerment?
What are my what?
What are your views on women empowerment?
Well, my views on women empowerment are that that's the answer to a lot of our problems, because women are the backbone of so much in society. I'll give you a good example. I was talking about agriculture yesterday. I was talking about the fact that in non-industrialized countries, in countries that are not having highly mechanized agriculture, 80% of the food that is produced, that is consumed in non-industrialized countries, is produced by small-scale farmers. And these are farmers who have 1 hectare or less of land, but on average, 1 hectare. And a lot of these women, a lot of these small-scale farmers, over 80, almost 70% of those are women. So women essentially are the backbone of food production in almost every non-industrialized country. And yet they are the most, they are highly excluded from land ownership. They're excluded from controlling of inputs like seeds and fertilizers. They're not given the right tools. Often the men get the tools, the women don't get the tools, but women get on with it, and they continue to produce almost all the food we consume. So I would say to you, women are the backbone of most, and we must empower them if we are to survive. And that's my opinion.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Lavanya. I am studying 10th grade. I am extremely lucky to pose this question. What did Wangari Mathai mean by a holistic approach to education?
What was her approach to education?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Lavanya. I mean, I think that the truth of the matter is my mother was a beneficiary of a lot of good education, a lot of good teachers who cared for her, teachers who were very interested in her success. And so a lot of her opinions about education were that it is really the most important thing that you can take, that you can be given, that you can give. And that if you have an education, really the sky is the limit. You can do just about anything you want. And so that is a really important thing, that if you equip yourself with an education, then you open your options into the world, into so many different areas. And so it's a really important foundation We should make sure that everybody gets educated. That ought to be the goal, because without education, you cannot have prosperity. You cannot have prosperity in a country where people do not have an education. And that's a really important thing. Very good questions coming.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Prasunamba. I am studying 10th grade. It's my pleasure to pose this question. What is the Green Belt Movement call to action?
Did you say that again? What is the Green Belt Movement?
Call to action.
I don't think I can understand her last part. What is the Green Belt Movement?
What is the Green Belt Movement call to action?
Sorry, I'm not hearing the last word.
So, Wanjira, actually her question is, what is the Green Belt Movement call to action? Call to action.
Call to action.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good question. The call to action is really that you have to protect the environment that sustains you. You know, make sure that the environment, and that is the places that surround you, are green. We've got to make sure that we protect whatever is green that is standing around us. So plant a tree. That's the call to action.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Kushmida. I am studying 10th grade. It's my honor to ask this question. To date, approximately how many trees has the Green Belt Movement planted in Kenya?
That's a very good question, because they continue to plant all the time. So I would say that the Greenbelt Movement has planted now 50 million trees and counting. So more than 50 million trees. Every year, depending on the climate and depending on the situation, this year will be much less. They plant around 2 million, 3 million trees. So, and the reason they don't plant so many trees is because they plant trees in a very systematic way. They organize women. They want to make sure that those trees actually survive. They want to make sure they know exactly where those trees are. So where have they been planted? So it's a long process that has been going on for 40 years now. And they've been planting trees every year for that amount of time, and also protecting spaces where already there are trees. So some of that.
Okay, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Hello. I'm very well.
This is Rishmita from class 10. It's my privilege to ask this question. What are the activities of Vangar Mathai's Foundation?
Could you ask me that question again?
What are the activities of Vangar Mathai's Foundation?
The activities of the Wangari Maathai Foundation, that's a really good question. The foundation was set up 5 years ago, actually, to especially look at what Wangari Maathai's message to children is, children and young people, and the fact that the story of her life could be inspiring to young people like you who are thinking about what you want to do in life, where you want to go, where you want to find yourself, but that whatever you do in life, you would make sure that you do something that helps other people as well. So wherever you end up, in a bank, in IT, in the computer science department, in agriculture, whatever you end up doing, always ask yourself the question, who else other than myself shall benefit from this gift?
Thank you, ma'am.
So Kotesrao garu, do you have any questions? Kotesrao garu. Sir, Kotesrao garu, do you have any questions? Can you hear me, voice? Sir, is Kotesrao sir? Sir, can you hear my voice? Kotesrao garu.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Vijay Lakshmi. I am studying 10th grade. It's my privilege to ask this question. Why is the Green Belt movement important?
Very good question. You know, the Green Belt movement is important just because it helps organize women around a very important activity that is tree planting. It helps organize them to restore the environment because we have to do this at a great scale. And so you need to organize, you need to be inspired, you need to be taught how to manage tree nurseries. So the Greenbelt movement is a platform that helps scale the tree planting activity.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, ma'am. This is Arisha. I'm studying 10th grade. And this is privilege to ask this question, ma'am. As a woman, do you feel that women in this world enjoying the privileges as per the men?
Could you ask that question again slowly?
As a woman, do you feel that women in this world enjoying the privileges as per the men?
Well, that's a really good question. I think more and more it is happening where men and women are enjoying equal privileges. And I think to a certain extent, we have a lot to thank India and countries in Asia that have shown us that women can accomplish anything they put their minds to. So I think that we are getting better, but I don't think we're there yet. We still have what they call a glass ceiling. So women cannot always get where they want to go. There's a lot of structural things that hold women back. There's a lot of systems that are not made to allow women to do certain things, but we're getting better. The world is getting better for women. And I hope for you, by the time you get where you want to go, you're in 10th grade now, you'll be much better off than a lot of the women who have come before you.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Aishwarya from 10th grade. It's my pleasure to pose this question. What are the current challenges to globalize the Green Belt movement?
It's a really good question. The Green Belt movement, as you know, is in Kenya, and taking it global is always a challenge, just because it takes a lot of time to transfer an idea that is so grassroots into another place. And you have to look for some of the signals or some of the elements of success that are here to take them there. One of those is really a charismatic leader. You need somebody who is passionate about the idea, somebody who wants to do this work, and that sometimes can be difficult. So that has limited where we can take the Greenbelt movement. You also need to understand the culture, the local traditions, and the local circumstances, because it's not just as easy as writing on a piece of paper. You have to go and understand, so you understand the culture, because people actually have to own the process. That's why it's a movement. Those are just two of them, but yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Kotesrao garu, are you available and are your students going to ask? Because I haven't heard anything from you, sir. We are waiting for your call. Kotesrao garu. Sir, are you going to join? Are you going to ask the questions?
Hello, ma'am. My name is Venkatesh. I am in 10th grade. I am extremely lucky to ask this question. What should be the role of today's youth to promote greenery?
The role of?
What should be the role of today's youth to promote greenery?
Tourism.
Youth.
Youth. Oh my goodness. Youth, that's a really good question, because youth are really the future, aren't they? And the future of a lot of the movements and a lot of the things we do is in the hands of young people like you. I don't know what the demographic is in India, but in Africa, we have 80% of the population under the age of 35. So we have a very young population. The average age of Africans today is 19 years old. So we have a very young population in Africa. So youth are really important in driving the agendas for the future, in helping, especially now when we are dealing with climate change. It's really important that young people think this is the most important issue. When you ask young people around the world what they care about the quality of their lives, they care about the quality of food they eat, they care about the quality of air, they care about the environment a lot more than previous generations. And so this is a really important thing for them. So youth are a really important component of our lives today, but especially important in driving the future agenda and what we do with climate change.
Thank you very much. Hello, ma'am. My name is Krishna. I am from 10th grade. It's my privilege to ask this question. How did your mother influence you when you were a child?
How did she do what? Ask again.
How did your mother influence you when you were a child?
How did she influence me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, that's a really interesting question. I worked with my mother for 12 years. So I was very close to the work that she was doing. And I was very interested in her as a person, how passionate she was about what she was doing. So those days working with her in some ways infected me with her passion, infected me with her charisma for what she was doing. And it just taught me that whatever you do, you just have to really enjoy it. Otherwise, don't do it. It's a lot of energy and a lot of time that you put into this. So choose what you want to do, and the extent to which it's what you really, really enjoy, then you have really found your purpose. So I think one of the things she taught me is to continue to pursue my purpose and to really enjoy what I do.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Chandra. I am studying 10th grade. I am extremely lucky to ask this question. Could you please explain about AFR 100 initiative?
Oh, you've been reading about AFR 100?
Yes, ma'am.
That's really good. It is a AFR 100, as you know, nature-based solutions and essentially the protection of forests around the world is a huge part of addressing the climate crisis. That if we can protect the trees we have standing, that's the most important thing we can do. The second most important thing we can do is to plant and restore vegetation. So where we have degradation, we can bring back the trees. And so I think that the thing to remember about AFR 100 is it is an African-wide movement to restore degraded landscapes. It's about bringing back 100 million hectares of land from degradation to productivity. And so it is a very ambitious movement, one that has all the commitments it needs. But the real hard work starts now as people start to restore the land. So all across the country, in 28 different African countries, there are people who are thinking about what restoration looks like for them. And so this is the AFR 100 movement.
Raju Garu, are you available? Raju Garu.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, sir. And
Are you?
whatever the questions that you need to ask,
Sir, I'm available.
Yes, please. Please go ahead and interact with them, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to see you. Hello.
Hello, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
glad to see you again. Yeah, my students are about to join the session, but they couldn't able to. On behalf of them, I am asking a question. And in our part of the country, in Telangana state, the government and the people every year, we are planting some saplings as the part of Aritaharam program. But the survival rate is very less. We are unable to protect the trees which we are planting. And could you enlighten what the role of the government and the people to protect the plants which we are planting every year?
That's a really good question, Raju. I think
Yes.
that one of the most important things is to understand when you're planting and
Yes.
what you're planting. So you make sure that what you're planting is local, is indigenous to that area and to that climate, so that you're planting things that are used to being in that place. The second thing is when you plant. I know you have rains at certain times of the year. Do you plant during the rainy season?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's really important, because then you can ensure that the trees will at least survive through the rainy season. And then after that,
Yes, ma'am.
it's really important that you don't rely only on the government to take care of those trees, that you engage those who have planted them in taking care of them as well. So it might mean that you have to think of different water harvesting methods that allow for water to slowly seep into the ground. Sometimes you have to mulch the trees, so you have to put vegetation and dry leaves and dry grass so that the water doesn't evaporate quickly. Then another tool that I have seen that is really helpful, especially if you don't have too many trees. Are these trees in the school?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We do have.
In the
We
school,
do
it's
have
much
many
easier.
trees, and yeah, school we are doing for school. It's okay. We are planting and we are protecting the trees, but
Outside.
out of the school in the village.
Yes, it's really important for
Uh,
the community to be involved in the survival of those
yes, ma'am.
trees.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you
Actually,
can
I
get
thought up to show the plants in our school, but I am away from my school today, unfortunately. If time permits, in future I'll show it.
That's great. I'd love to see them. And it would be good to make sure that when you plant the trees, you plant them with the communities, because then they will take care of them. So
Yes.
you don't want them to say, these are Bangaru's trees. These are your trees. These are the community's trees, so that they can take care of them.
Yes.
Kodesra Garu, are you available?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I hope to see those trees one
Yeah.
day.
So,
Yeah,
Kodesra-
please. If you give me an appointment, I love to. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Kodesra Garu, are you available? So Ramesh Garu, do you want to ask any question?
I see his
Yes,
hand.
sir.
Yes, please go ahead, sir. Sir, Ramesh Garu, if you don't mind, I have to say one thing. So we have 6 minutes time is left, sir.
Sir.
Vanjira ma'am and everyone
Okay.
understand one thing. We have only 6 minutes time left. But once this time slot is completed, we have to relog in again, because we have still 15 minutes time is there. So ma'am is
Okay.
going to spend another 15 minutes so that we can ask many more questions. So Ramesh,
Okay.
please go ahead and ask the question, sir.
Okay. Okay. Namaste, ma'am. Namaskaram.
Hello, nice to see you.
Ma'am, I would like to ask one question. Actually, we have one lesson on your mother in our textbooks. In India, 40% of population is youth. In what way we utilize their services in forestation activities, ma'am? Please suggest some ways to engage all these younger generation in the forestation activity.
Yeah, that's great that you have so many young people. I think they need to be
Yes,
organized across many of these young people belong to groups, they belong to clubs, they belong to different groups. If they don't belong to clubs, through your schools, you can help organize them into groups, because young people like to do things. They like to get involved. They like to feel that they're doing something useful, but they don't always organize themselves. So creating opportunities for them to organize themselves around tree planting activities is always a good one, because they see those trees grow, they see them, they transform their own lives, and then they start to enjoy them, whether they're fruits or shade. It's something that they see. So where they play football, where they play their games, where they do their activities, they can plant in those areas and make those areas green. It can just be an effort to green every space that they are part of. I think that would be a good way to engage them. Where they spend their time, where they live, they could always get involved in planting a tree. I remember when I was growing up, Ramesh, my mother used to make us plant flowers and trees all the time. So today I plant all the time. I'm always looking for cuttings. I'm always looking for things so that I can plant them. It was a birthday, it was Earth Day, it was somebody's wedding. Even for funerals, we would remember people by planting trees. So just make sure that whatever you do, you celebrate with a tree or a plant. It doesn't have to be a tree, it can be a flower. Because when those plants start to grow, they start to change you. You love them, you see them and you feel good. And they really start to make your environment good. We know today that green is very important for mental health. So we know that it's a really important thing to do. So find a way to engage them.
great.
Thank you.
Sir Kodeswara Garu, are you still available? It seems that I am unable to get anything from you. We are waiting for your call. So meantime, Wanjira, could you please explain your Kenyan education system? Is there any special book, especially meant for environment or growing the trees for your students? I mean, students in Kenya.
That's a very good question. Our education system is based very much, I think, very similar to India. We have the system that is based on the British curriculum or the British experience. So we have, and right now we keep changing it around, but right now we have the system which has 8 years of education. This is the national education system. So you go to 8 years and then you sit a national examination. And that examination then allows you to go to high school for 4 years. And then after 4 years, you go into university for 4 years. And so we call it the 8-4-4 system. But we are also likely to shift to go into a different system that is more about 7 years of primary education, but you sit an exam after 4th grade. So you do first exam at year 4, you do the second exam at year 7, and then you go to high school for 6 years, the way it used to be, to the A level, and then you go then to university. So 7-6-3. So it's any combination of that we have. And then of course we have a lot of the private education systems, the American system, British curriculum, common entrance and all of those. But the national education system is very similar to that.
In the
And maybe I should add, Harry, that the education system has within it environmental education. So kids are taught how important it is and what we call community engagement, that they should engage with their local community and seek to understand what the challenges are that face their community.
So Wanjira, I think at the time slot in this session comes to end, I request you please re-log in again and just for another 10 minutes because the time slot allows only 30 minutes. So you have given us another 15 minutes. So we will see you one more time in the next slot. So I request Ramesh Garu and other participants also, please re-log in again because anytime we can get lost connection. So please be again.
Okay.